Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Compact Claustrophobia. Do you guys want to see how much diamond nuggets you get from 1,000 HOP graphite ingots? Well, I do too. I don't necessarily have a full 1,000, but I have 930 something, which is fine. So we're gonna toss it here and then we're gonna flint and steel it and boom. Let's see what we get. 2 stacks and 21. That is pretty good. Okay, so we have a total of 231. That's gonna be plenty for a little while, and we are steadily making more HOP graphite ingots. And even in here, you can now see that wood is starting to back up because I backed up on everything. The steel is now made it to 1,000, the coal is at 1,000, the graphite's at 1,000, the pulverized charcoal is 1,000, and the charcoal is almost at 1,000. In our main room, I decided to alternate the ducts here because I can split a signalum-plated item duct to give power to the redstone furnace, and we can also extract out of this reinforced storage crate for anything that we need to smelt. And I kind of needed it to set up for the isotope separator because I separated a bunch of thorium dust, that is, into thorium-232 and I believe it does thorium-230 tiny clumps, and then you can combine those and make thorium-230, and then you can make thorium-230 blocks, which are used under the Crucible to get lava super fast, which is what we're gonna go do next. Before we get into our Crucible lava production, I want to make a wireless transmitter and also a wireless crafting grid. And I think I need to click this guy onto here to get it hooked up. And then I need power, which I thought I had at some point. Did I not have a... I did have a flux capacitor. I don't know why it's in here. You're set to... You should be set to charge everything, right? Yeah, just charge all items, please. Thank you. Okay, so we don't have a wireless transmitter, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick it right here in the corner. I think should be fine. Oh, this needs to be placed back. And we can go like this. Now we have wireless crafting grid access. And I think, how do we get the thing to work in, because if we go in here, we don't have, oh, it does work. Okay. I thought we would need wireless thingies in each of the compact machines, but we have wireless crafting grid access, so we can work from here and craft stuff, no problem. That is really, really cool. I just realized now that we have a wireless crafting grid that works anywhere, it makes our satchel obsolete. So I'm just gonna toss everything that we had inside of there into the storage system. I think that should be pretty much it. And we can even toss you in there. You should be empty. Yeah. And we can just have the wireless crafting grid right here, and we can access all of our items. As far as the Crucible Room goes, it's going to be in a 7x7x7 compact machine, and we're going to have 25 crucibles here in the floor. They're all having a rate of 61 by the thorium blocks that they're sitting on, and we can then set this guy to extract always active, and we're going to grab our conduit probe, and we're going to set it to copy-paste mode, and we're going to set an insert here on... let's say gray for cobblestone. The extract can be turned off, and this guy is going to be extract and insert disabled. So we can then do this and then copy paste all of these conduits all around here. I'm just going to do these 5 for the moment. And if we switch this to be gray, we should start getting cobblestone being distributed and lava being extracted. And we can start seeing lava being put into here, I hope. Oh, these guys filled with water. That is not what we want. So we can disable that. Actually, I'm just going to break that. And then we're going to fish out these conduits and replace them. There we go. We are now getting lava put into this portable tank. And in here in the middle, we're going to sneak in a tunnel. Like so. And also grab a bit of cable. And we can toss that in there, and that should now start importing lava into the system as soon as we set this to fluids. But before that, we're going to set a whitelist here and say lava, and this guy is going to be a whitelist of water, and those are connected, so it should be fine. And as soon as we do this, we should see get lava being stored in here. Cool. I don't think we need speed upgrades. I mean, we might be producing lava slower than we are importing it, but we'll see that once I switch all of the conduits over. I made a couple of extract speed upgrades for the item conduit because the cobblestone wasn't provided to all of the crucibles fast enough, and that sorted that issue out. And then I also added 2 speed upgrades, so we're now importing the lava. Oh, apparently we're not. We were for a moment. Maybe 3 speed upgrades? Ooh, maybe a stack upgrade? Will that do a thing? I love the speed of the crafting. Go. No? Importer lava. Set it to... Okay. For some reason... Oh, blacklist. Yeah. Okay. 3 speed upgrades were plenty for keeping up. If we remove 1, we should see lava coming in, I think, faster. Maybe not. Oh, if we remove 1, maybe that. Ah, there we go. Okay, so 2 is 2 the threshold? 2 is the threshold. Okay, and here we're gonna just add this guy, and we're gonna say whitelist water. Water. And that should head in here. All right, and we don't really need this to be quick, but we can toss in this and make another 2 speed upgrades, and it should fill it up very, very quickly, and then we can remove it after. Yep. It's going up super quick, as fast as this can produce it probably. So this will fill up, and now we're gonna pretty much set up the obsidian generation somewhere up above here. I think I'm gonna have the floor for this room be maybe here, and we can set up like a glass floor in the middle so you can actually see the crucibles, but the rest of the corners here are just gonna be filled up with walls. I had an interesting idea. We can just toss all of the barrels inside of a compact machine and then not worry about having weird cabling here in the floor. And what we're gonna do is over here, we're gonna add an external storage for obsidian, and we're gonna flip you up like that. And we can then just bring a cable like so to hook it up. And in here, we're using a thing that I haven't used before, and that is refined storage conduits. And we're using those because we need to transfer lava from the refined storage system and also through the conduits here through the floor. So in here, if we look at with our Retta wrench on the up, we have an enabled refined storage conduit that has a basic fluid filter here in the exporter filter, and that is set to lava, so that extracts lava into this portable tank. That is really cool. And then it just gets extracted with the fluid conduit. It goes around, and I think I need to connect the item conduit here because it's not connected the way it looks like it. So let's see. Oh, there isn't an item conduit. Oh yeah, because there doesn't need to be. That's fine. Anyway, so next thing that we need to do is we need to extract out into the other side of the compact machine. So we can put this guy down and set it to west, where we have an item duct. And if we set an insert on blue here, are we gonna see obsidian? We are. Oh, that is amazing. That's so cool. All right, because the conduit's already auto push. We don't need a servo here. And we can see the obsidian coming through. So now we can grab a bunch of covers of these variety, and we're gonna cover the walls here like so as well, so you don't see the conduits under or the cables underneath. So we're gonna go around everywhere and cover it and make it look real nice and pretty. I also want to show you how you can make these stone strips from Forge Multipart. All you need is a crafting table and a saw, which of any type over here, and then you just grab some stone and you put it right underneath the saw. You get stone slabs. You put the stone slabs to get stone panels, and then you put stone panels to get stone covers, and then you can get yourself some stone strips like that. Also, apparently there's a thunderstorm happening because I have weather at 5%, and that is incredibly loud. We'll turn that off. Now that we have items that constantly use power from our inventory, we can make the Parabolic Fluxed coupling augment for this guy, which I believe will rapidly recharge my items here. Yeah, there it goes. It recharges flux capacitors while we're next to it. So anytime we're in here, it's just gonna get charged up and it's gonna be beautiful. I want to set up our fission reactor, and for that we're gonna need a whole bunch of the reactor casing, this guy, and that's gonna require a whole bunch of tough alloy. And while we're at it, we're gonna add another cube that's going to house a bunch of our machines. And in here, we're going to set up some of these alloy furnaces. Let me just flip those real fast, like so. So first one, you're going to get the ferroboron, which is going to be the steel ingot and the boron. And we're going to say export only work with redstone signal. Ferroboron 1000. There we go. And we need servos on these because they are too dumb to extract on their own. So we can do that. And that should extract the ferroboron once it's complete. We're going to add some speed upgrades as well because this is using only 15 RF per tick. The next one is going to be tough alloy, which I believe is lithium and ferroboron. I'm pretty sure. Tough alloy, lithium, and ferroboron. Wonderful. Export like that. Tough alloy. 1000. All right. And the next one is going to be magnesium diboride, which is 2 boron dust and 1 magnesium. And magnesium we have in the system. And we can just do boron, magnesium, like that. And then magnesium diboride, 1000. There we go. That should all do its thing and extract as soon as we add another servo here. Like that. All right. And we can add in some upgrades for speed and for energy. This doesn't look like much, but it is in fact a 7x7x7 fission reactor that fits inside of a 9x9x9 compact machine. So we can now get ourselves a bunch of coolers and a bunch of cells and a bunch of graphite blocks and fill this in to start producing a whole bunch of power. We can then set up a small compact machine that's going to be in here somewhere, possibly like underneath that on the edge, that's going to produce the fuel. And we're going to set that up a little bit later. I am in a creative world right now, and this reactor was my own design, and it is going to produce 72,280 RF per tick with the LU235 fuel that we're going to use. And I found a better design on Discord that uses even less expensive materials, and it's going to produce 31,800 RF per tick with LU235 fuel. So we're going to go with this one. I'm going to craft all the things that I need, and we're going to go assemble it in the compact machine. Everything inside the reactor is pretty much symmetrical, and if you want to follow along, you can just pause the video here. I'll even F1 it so you can see what the top layer is, and the bottom layer is exactly the same, but I think I messed up here by putting in lapis coolers. These need to be water coolers like that. As we fill the reactor with the next layer, it's going to get more and more difficult for me to show you how the layers look. So I will just post the picture that the person posted on the Discord in the description down below so you can have a look at it over there. The reactor is fully assembled, and we're going to see if it's fully correctly assembled. It is. I tossed in the fuel and I don't know where it went. Did it eat it up and I need to give it a redstone signal for it to work? So if we grab a lever and we put you right here. Aha! It does work. It's producing power. Okay, cool. So since the inside is fully assembled, I can easily break the outside here, no problem. And again, I have... Did I not? Weather's off. Why do we have thunderstorms outside? I have no idea. But what we need to add to this is we need some sort of way to transfer out the power. And we also need a small compact machine, maybe even a tiny compact machine that is going to produce us the fuel. We could also just set up the isotope separators somewhere in the compact machine, let's say in here. We could just put up a thing that runs uranium into a sequential fabricator. But I think it's best if we just toss it into a tiny compact machine. I think it's going to fit inside. We need one isotope separator doing this exactly. So making tiny clumps of uranium and uranium-238. And then we need a couple of caches and a sequential fabricator to craft us up the fuel. The reactor is going to make a whole bunch more power, and our basic hardened flux ducts won't be able to handle the amount of power that we're going to get. So we're going to make some faster ones by tossing some empty redstone energy flux ducts here to get transposed with redstone, and they become redstone energy flux ducts, which are faster, but still not fast enough. So we're going to toss these in here, and I've already made some, and we're going to turn them into signalum flux ducts, which do 16,000 RF per tick, which we can get away with using 2 of these, the ports, these guys, fission reactor ports. We can put 2 of them on the side, each one with its own signalum flux duct, and we can output out of 2 sides of this compact machine, which is essentially going to go in here, and we can then provide power to all of our machines a little bit quicker and better and faster. Our fuel system is pretty much complete, and it really doesn't matter where this is, but I have currently put it in here, and we can extract the fuel directly out of the compact machine, or I can just set up an exporter here, and we can move this guy around, but I think it's simple if we do a retriever here. And we set you to the fuel. I have it in the system here anyway, just so we can check how many we have, for example. But we can do that, and then the tunnel north is already the hardened flux duct. Is that gonna work? I think it might, because what we can do, not head out, but head rather in here. We can replace this top one with signalum plated versions of these. Bam, 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 and bam. And I think the retriever should pick it up. If not, we can just, we can add a servo here. Like that. That's gonna go. You're gonna end up in here. Going in here. I don't think we need the retriever. This guy. Getting the fuel. It's going inside. Awesome. Cool. So the fuel thing is complete. It is done. We can kind of cover this up now. So fuel will constantly come in here. And now I need to sort out the power. I think we can go away with putting a fission reactor port here. And then let's say we do the... We want to do north, and we can do south, right? And we're going to give you a signalum flux duct, and this is going to be a signalum flux duct, and we need another port. This guy. Okay, and we can put this guy here, port here. And before we turn this on, I have a lever here that we can stick onto here. I'm actually gonna put it right in here. We can head on out, and we're gonna grab this compact machine. We're gonna bring it inside of here, where we're gonna have to do a little bit of reorganizing. I think this guy is gonna have to be in the middle. So kind of like this, and that should be the north and the south side. So we can do that and that. And I'm gonna have to break all of these guys because all of the thermoelectrics are gonna be hooked up in a different way. And let me just try and figure this out, if we can fit this in kind of nicely and have it hooked up to output power to everything. What I decided to do is to leave the thermoelectrics in here just the same, and they're only gonna power my refined storage system. So that's kind of like a constant power bank that never runs out. And we can even replace this with the energy cell here. And we can say input left and right, and output on the back, I think. Should be the right one. If we move you, you should have the back. There we go. Awesome. So the refined storage system should still be up and running. Okay. And this guy up top has an output on the left and on the right, meaning north and south. And that is coming out off of this side. And we're going to have to replace all of these ducts with the signalum flux ducts, because the power that is coming out of the reactor is going to be a bit higher, so we can transfer it on all of these. And if we head on in here, we can turn this guy on, and you are starting to produce 31,000 RF per tick with 219% efficiency. And that is burning through the fuel quite quickly, in fact. And I'm hoping we can make it fast enough. The thing that we can increase is the speed at which the isotope separator works, but we'll see if the fuel hangs on. Because we're making quite a bit of power. Ooh, we also have to take care of the depleted fuel. That has to go somewhere. Because we moved this guy out of the other compact machine, we need to have access to cables. And I believe the power cube currently doesn't have a cable hooked onto it because this bottom part has the flux ducts that is powering our refined storage system. So we need to figure out how we can put in the cables or because we need to export the fuel inside of there. So we need to figure out a cable system that will go into here. And what we can probably easily complete is just something like this. We're going to remove that power cube. We're going to come down here like so. We're going to grab cable and we're going to hook it in like this, right? And then we can still hook in the power down here and remove these. And we're going to hook the power like so. So everything is working the same. And we're going to need to figure out the outputs for the thermoelectrics. We can probably remove this energetic infuser and do that. And that way we can set this over here onto up. There we go. And we can put you back. And here we can put a one on down. Cables coming in from the east. And now we can put a cable here, set to east. And what I want to do is just have an exporter here for LEU fuel, right? And that way we can easily access this small compact machine from outside of our normal compact machine here. So we can just put you, let's say right here, for example, right? And we can come in here and fix up our tunnels. So you need to be up. And then here we don't need that guy anymore because we're not extracting to anywhere. And we just need to set up the power. Like so. So you should now, as soon as we replace the cables up top and on the bottom, should be fine. I've made a few changes here in this room just to make it look a little bit pretty while we're in here. And we're going to cover up the power right here on top, like so. And what I basically have is the Isotope Separator extracting into a servo on both sides, into item ducts, I should say. One side is taking uranium-238 and the other one is taking the tiny clumps of uranium of 235. This one is then storing it in a cache, pulling it into here, crafting into the uranium-235s. Those are then put on an external storage in the system. We are then exporting them out into this sequential fabricator, which is storing the uranium-238, and it is crafting that into LEU fuels. And I added this cache here because I think this one will fill up with uranium-238s at some point. And that would mean that this guy would fill up with uranium-238s, and I don't think then it would produce tiny clumps of uranium, which would mean that eventually we would run out of fuel, because this guy wouldn't be crafting any more things, because this one wouldn't be producing any more tiny clumps of uranium, and this guy wouldn't be producing any more of this. So I have a cache here that we are gonna upgrade with a conversion kit here, like so. And that should be plenty of storage for what we need for pretty much all of the playthrough, I think. So we can just fill this floor in like that. In our power cube, though, I have added a few things to the reactor here. So if we break in a little bit over here, we have now an importer importing the depleted fuels into the refined storage system. And we have an exporter exporting the fuel back into the fission reactor, and that is pretty much the reactor fully done. This is very radiated in here, so we're gonna head on out. No, I need to set that up. And now I don't know, you are on the north, so you need to be on the south. Down, up, south. So we can head on out. I cleaned up this room again now that we have upgraded everything to the Signalum flux ducts, and here we're gonna just cover this up and we're not gonna have a compact machine in the middle. I might look into a way where we could still have one over there, because it's kind of nice to have 6 compact machines on the walls and we slowly fill up the walls, which is really cool. I also moved our energetic infuser and it's gonna be hidden right underneath here. It still has the chargy thingy inside, so it's gonna charge our inventory and our flux capacitor with that, and that should be perfectly fine. One thing that I think I forgot to show you that I did in between episodes is I added aluminum to our harvesting here. So basically I doubled our auto clickers, and we now have an aluminum pickaxe in here that is harvesting aluminum pieces. And then those pieces are crafted with the refined storage system into aluminum ore chunks. And I'm processing it in a redstone furnace with the Flux anodizers to create 2 aluminum ingots out of 1 aluminum ore chunk. And that way we now have always 1,000 aluminum in the system and apparently 58,000.7k aluminum ore pieces. And that is gonna have to be it for today. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I am really hoping that you did enjoy the episode. And if you did, make sure you break that like button. And you can also subscribe to see new videos. You can support me on Patreon as well if you want. And I will see you all in the next episode. Have a good one. Bye-bye.